Hi people, welcome back. Today I thought it would be fun to do a video, probably a shorter one, where I tier rank one of my favorite authors' books, just for fun, honestly. They're all like my favorites, but I figured it'd be fun to find my favorite of the favorites. So yeah, anyway, the author is Kasie West. These are all the books that I own. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 of her books physically, and they are like the cutest covers in the world. I want to own all of her books, but I'm just like slowly buying them. I have a lot more of her like new releases. I bought these 3 new. I found these 2 at the thrift store, and this book actually I got signed when I met her in person a couple months ago. She wrote "Rosemary, be a star." This is my prized possession. Anyway, I thought today we'd do a tier ranking of all her books. I think so far she has like 23 books, and I think 3 of them are books that are like announced to come out within the next year. She writes really clean and like my favorite YA romances I've ever read, because they don't have any swearing, they don't have any sex, and they don't have any innuendos or anything in them, and they're totally clean. Like I feel completely safe giving one of her books to my younger sister. She also has some adult romances now that have sex and swearing and have more mature themes in them for adults, which I'll also rank because I've read the 2 that are out so far. But I highly recommend her books if you want clean books, and they have really good plots in them that are interesting and they connect with people, and they're not just like fluff, which is why I like them so much. Anyway, okay, here's our tier list. I have put in all of the books that she has out now. I have read all of the books that she has come out with to this date, and my tiers are, the top one is Twelve, because love. And then the next one we have Heart Eyes, which is like, I really like this book, but it's not like my favorite thing in the entire world, but like I still love it and I'd still recommend it to people. And then we have Like, where I like it more than just liking. Then we have Tolerate, where it's like, it's fine, it just exists. And then we have Glare, as in, why are you even here? I don't think we're gonna use the bottom tiers very much because I do like most of her books, but I just had to create a new tier list because my old one that I had perfectly prepared before this, it decided to refresh and not keep anything. So that's great. Plus it had a ton of ads on the website, so this one doesn't, so I say it works all around. Okay, the first one on our list is The Distance Between Us, and this is her first book, or it's her first romance. I know Pivot Point and Split Second, which are coming all right later, I think are her actual first books. I couldn't find the actual time. But anyway, first one we're going with is The Distance Between Us. And this book, I like it a lot. I think I've reread it a couple times. I don't think it's my favorite. It has like a dating without her mom's permission kind of trope, which always makes me feel like uncomfortable. And there was something about like the way the characters interacted that felt more lust driven than some of her other books. So it's not like my favorite, but I still do like the book, so I think I'm gonna put it in like. Next book we have is On the Fence. This one's really cute. It follows a girl who has got a parking ticket and then she has to go work at a job. It's kind of like a I'm not like other girls kind of a book, but it's still fun. Like I love this book. I love the romance in this one. I think some of the scenes, I think about them all the time. I'm trying to decide between True Love and Heart Eyes. I think I'm gonna put it in Heart Eyes for now because I'm thinking about the ones that I'm gonna put in True Love, and I don't think it's there, but it's close. Okay, now we have The Fill-In Boyfriend. This one I think is like uncomfortably close to my own relationship with friends in high school, where they're just like not really true friends, and so every time I read it I'm like, oh, this is a little bit too close to home. I did like the romance in this one. Okay, I think this one I like a little bit more than The Distance Between Us. I'm between Heart Eyes and like, because it's not True Love, and it's not quite, do I have to put The Distance Between Us and Tolerate it? Okay, that feels about right. We have to be harsher on this list because I do like all of these books better than a 3-star. So that's where we're at. Okay, fine. I'm being harsher. I don't like being harsh, but apparently we must be harsh with this. Okay, the next one we have P.S. I Like You, and immediately this one's going into love. I love that book so much. That I think is, if not the first book by her that I read, like the second book, and it implanted on my teenage subconscious, and so now I just can't not think about that book. It has like not knowing who you're dating trope, and it's just like, it's wonderful. I love it so much. I hate telling people like what happens in books because that like ruins part of it, you know? But it has like, she's obsessed with music and they both like the same music, and it's a perfect book. It is wonderful. I love that book so much. Okay, next we have Pivot Point and Split Second, which I think I'm gonna put together because they're a duology. And this is her only books on this list that aren't primarily romance. They're actually like fantasy dystopian kind of books, and they do have romance in them, but that's like not the whole point of the book. And when I read them as a teenager, I think I loved them a lot lot, and I reread them I think either earlier this year or last year. I can't remember at this point. I liked them, but I wasn't obsessed with them as I was then, and I think it was because I read better dystopian stuff since then, because obviously I'm an adult, so like less hard dystopian doesn't like hit as hard anymore, but I did still like them, so I think I'm gonna put them in like as a duology. I think I liked the first book better than the second book because like it has a really interesting perspective on time, because the main character girl can basically like see a branching pathway, and she can see what would happen if she made one decision or the other. And so the first book is basically her doing two decisions, like taking two paths to see which one would be the better choice, and then at the end of the book she chooses which one she wants to do. So then the second book is like the consequences of what happens from her taking one of the choices, and it's really interesting and I liked it a lot. Okay, now we have By Your Side, and that book is the reason that I feel uncomfortable being in library bathrooms, specifically close to closing time, because it follows a girl who goes to the library and then she goes to the bathroom and then the doors get locked and she can't leave the library, and she's actually locked in with a boy, and so it follows like this whole thing. And that main character girl, she has anxiety, and that was like the first time when I was younger that I was kind of like validated through a book about the fact that I have anxiety. It was a fun book. I loved it a lot when I was younger, and now that I'm older I'm like I don't know. I think it's definitely in Heart Eyes, but it's not True Love. Okay, now we have Lucky in Love, and this one, this is either Heart Eyes or True Love. I don't know which one goes in. I really like this book. It has a girl who wins the lottery, and then it follows her, like what she ends up doing with her money and like the consequences of fame on how people interact with you. It's so interesting, and I love the love story in that one, but most of all that one is like less of a love story and more of just like a philosophical book almost, and I liked it so much. And I think it has to be in True Love just because it has like an interesting question in it about like money and the moral consequences of it, and you know me, I love me a philosophical question, so that one has to be in True Love. Okay, next we have Listen to Your Heart, and this book, when I read it the first time, I didn't like it. I didn't connect with the main character and her love interest at all. Like I didn't get it. And then when I reread it, I think a couple years ago, I was like, oh, actually this is amazing and I love it. I think it has to go into Heart Eyes. Before it would be in Tolerate, but now it like bumped up to Heart Eyes. That one's so good. It has a girl who joins her school's podcast team. She doesn't want to be on the podcast team, but she's like, oh, this will be an easy elective, I can do it. And then she gets picked as one of the hosts, and so then she has to be a host and talk on the radio, and she's like, I don't want to do this. And I feel that totally in my soul of having to talk to people and you don't want to do it. And the romance in that one is really cute. I think the reason that I didn't like it as much before is because most of the book is her denying that she likes the boy, but like rereading it, like the angst is so there. It's so good. Next we have Maybe This Time, and that one just straight up, there needs to be a rank even higher. Can you let me pick on this? Okay, True Love. Love that book. That is literally my actually, this one can go straight to the front because I just love Maybe This Time. That one is such a good book. Funnily enough, when I was younger, I looked up like people's rankings of these books, which is actually partially why I wanted to make this, but I looked up the rankings of her books and I wanted to see what other people liked about her books and which ones they didn't like. And one of the ones that people would put so low was Maybe This Time, and I was like, why? This book is so good. It has like kind of an unconventional format where it isn't really in like a linear progression. It is, but it follows sections of her life only related to the times that she's working at her job. And she works at her job at events sporadically because she works in a flower shop, and the flower shop also kind of but like does the decorations for events. And so it follows her doing certain events throughout the year, and so it follows her meeting this guy at different times throughout the year, and it's so cute. I love this book so much. It has like the perfect enemies to lovers ever, and the main character's wonderful and her best friend's lovely. It's such a good book. I love that one so much. Now we have Love, Life, and the List, and this one, every time I read it, I either love it or I'm like, nothing in between. It's just love or not as much love. And I think it's because she falls for her best friend who's a guy, and she can't tell her best friend that's a guy that she likes him. And at the time when I was a teenager, that was my life. So like it was totally like what was going on in my life. And so then when I got a little bit older and then like nothing happened with the guy that I liked, it was kind of hard to read the book. But that's like not the book's fault, like at all. And it's still a cute book. I think the one thing that I get annoyed at is the very ending, because like up until then I'm totally on board, and then depending on how I'm feeling when I'm rereading it, that ending I'm like, This book follows a girl. She works at like an art museum and she wants to get her art out into this gallery. And she asked her boss, and her boss is like, no, your art doesn't have enough feeling in it yet. And so she's like, all right, I'm gonna get as much feeling in my art as possible within these, I think it's like a month during summer before the gallery happens, and then paint as many pieces as I can to get my art in this gallery, because it's like one of the goals she wants to do to get to college. It follows her making a list of things she can do to get her a better heart, basically, get her more experiences that she can use to make more potent art, I guess. And her best friend comes along and does it with her. And I think it's such a cute setup for a book. I love it so much. I'm trying to decide between, cause like depending on the day, it's either tolerate or to love. So I think I'll put it in like the middle, which is like. My bangs are growing out, which is lovely, but now they're at like the awkward stage where they poke me in the face. Okay, next we've got Fame, Fate, and the First Kiss. And this one is one that I can straight up and confidently put into tolerate, because it is just fine. It's just fine. I don't love the main character. She's like this, not prissy, but she's a movie star. So she's filming a movie and then she falls for this guy, and it follows her trying to solve a mystery within the movie set, and then also this like kind of politics going on. It's just like not my vibe. I didn't love the plot. The romance is fine. It has a little bit of a power dynamic that I don't love, but it's fine. So it's just tolerate. Like every time I read it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is Kasie West book, good time. And then afterwards I'm just like, me. Next we have Moment of Truth. This one, Twill Love. Love that book. That one, if I had to describe myself, it would be that book. That main character is me. Obviously not the stuff she goes through in her life. She has an older brother who passes away when he's like 17, and she never met him. Or if she did, she was like a baby. And so she's like the second child to her parents, and so she's growing up in the shadow of this older brother, and she doesn't realize the toll that it's taking on her. And that one also kind of has a mystery element to it, but I like the way the mystery element is incorporated in the book. And it's such a good. It's so perfect. Every time I read it, I cry. I love the romance that happens with the guy she falls for. It's so cute. I love it so much. Next we have Sun-Kissed. This is the one that I have signed by Kasie West. I wanted to get Moment of Truth signed, or the next book on this list, but I couldn't find that book. They only had like a couple of her books there because I didn't bring one of the books that I had. Otherwise I would have probably bought maybe this time and brought it with me, but I didn't do that because I was like, surely they'll have more of her books there to buy, but no, they didn't. They only had a couple, and I already owned a couple of them, so I just bought the one that I didn't own, which was Sun-Kissed, but I'm still glad that I have that one signed. Where do I want to rate this one? This one is described as a Dirty Dancing-esque plot, but I've never watched Dirty Dancing, so I don't know what the plot is. So I don't know if that's like an accurate representation of the plot of the book. It probably is, because that's how she describes it. But it has a girl who goes to summer camp, and then she like pretends to her mom that she's not in this like band thing, but she is, and she's not supposed to be like liking this boy that she is, but she likes him. It's really cute. I like this one a lot. I think this one goes pretty confidently in Heart Eyes. Next we have Places We've Never Been. And when I first read this book, I didn't like it at all. Like I hated this book. It made me I didn't connect with the characters. I was just like meh. And then I reread it a couple years later and I bawled because the character was like me, basically. I say about this a lot of these books. The main character was going through stuff that I was going through, and so when I was reading it at the time, I couldn't connect with it because I was like too close to the problems, you know? And then when I read it later, I was like, that's me. Oh, that one has to be True Love. It's such a good book. That one follows a girl who's going on a road trip with her mom and her siblings and her mom's best friend and their kids. And they're going on a road trip cross country to take her to a job interview a college application interview that she's going to. Her best friend when she was younger was her mom's best friend's son. And so they're going on this road trip together, kind of forced proximity, kind of vibe. And it's just so good. And I loved it so much the second time I read it, and I need to reread it again because I think I've only read it twice. And it's a special book to me now. Now we have Borrow My Heart, and this is a book that I own. And I'm gonna be honest, I've read this book twice, and the first time I read it, when I tried to remember the plot, I couldn't remember it at all. And I don't think this is the fault of me at the time, like maybe a little bit, but then when I read it again, I still wasn't like fully connected with the plot. Like now that I think about it, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. But this is the one where the pieces of the plot didn't intertwine as well for me as a book. It made less sense to me that all these different pieces were together. And so when I was reading it, I was like, oh yeah, that I guess, sure. And then when I'm thinking about it, I remembered parts of this book and I couldn't remember what book it was from. Like I think of one part and be like, that's surely that book, and I think of another part and like, oh, that's that book. And then when I read it again, I was like, oh no, it's all one book, and I just forgot. So I think this one honestly has to go into Tolerate. Oh, what did I do? Okay, has to go into tolerate it. It's not even tolerate, it's like apathy. Like I just like don't care. But tolerate is like the closest here that we have. Because when I read it again, I did like it, but I didn't like remember it very well. Maybe it goes into like, because I like it. Nah, it can't go into glare because like I don't glare at it, I just don't remember it. I will put it in tolerated for now. I might move it if somewhere else fits better. Now we have Better Than Revenge. This one is less romance-centric than some of her other books that she's come out with. It focuses more on a plot that she's going through and a plot with her grandma, because this one also has to do with a podcast, and funnily enough, this girl wants to get on a podcast, but her boyfriend instead kind of steals the role from her, so she's like, well, you're not my boyfriend anymore, and now I'm gonna steal the thing that you wanted, which was to get this, I think it was the kicker on the, maybe it was the quarterback on the football team. So she's like, well, I'm gonna get amazing and I'm gonna become the quarterback on this football team. And so she teams up with the guy who used to be the quarterback on the football team to train her to like be able to beat her ex-boyfriend at this point. And it's such a cute plot. And then she also wants to be on the podcast, so she has her own personal podcast and she's interviewing her grandma because her grandma has dementia or something where she can't remember things as well. And so she's taking her grandma's memories that she has and basically memorializing them for posterity before her grandma forgets them. And so it's really cute, but I just like, I've only read this one once too. A lot of these books on this list, I've read them multiple times because I was a teenager, and now that I'm a little bit older, I'm like, I don't need to be rereading teen romances all the time because like I'm kind of separated from them a little bit. I'm not as close to them, so they don't matter as much to me, but I still like them. So I want to do a reread at some point, but I haven't reread this one, so I can't give you like my complete and total, yeah, this is how I feel about this book. But for now, it's kind of just in like, because I liked it, but I didn't like connect with it very much. It is so loud outside my room right now. They're having a congregation. Alright, the next book we have is We Met Like This. And this one is her first adult romance. And I was like so iffy on whether I was going to read these or not, because I honestly just like her for her YA romances. I think they're really good. They're well written, and I like the way that their plots are constructed, and I like the way the love stories aren't like super touch focused. And so her adult romances, I wasn't sure if I would like them because I like the way that her YA ones are constructed, and I was already like not loving her YA ones as much because Borrow My Heart and Better Than Revenge I was like, yeah, and so I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like her adult one. So I kind of waffled on it for a while, and then I eventually did read it, I think earlier this year, just because it was free on Kindle Unlimited, and I was like, sure, whatever, why not? So I ended up reading it, and I have a couple good things to say. I like the fact that her adult romance covers do not have the cutesy like vibes that her YA covers have, because if they did, it'd be really hard for teenagers to tell apart which ones are safe for them to read and which ones aren't, like obviously depending on what teenagers like to read. So I like the fact that they look different. That's good. I don't think adding sex and swearing to her books makes them any better. I think that it in fact detracts from her storytelling, because the way that her books are written makes it so the absence of swearing makes it more interesting to read, because she has to work around it. She's a better creative writer when she has things she has to omit or things she chooses to omit, because it makes her more creative in filling in the gaps. And so We Met Like This, it added it in, but it didn't add depth to the story. It really just, it felt like it added fluff. I thought the plot was interesting, but I didn't think the swearing needed to be there. I think if she wanted to write adult romances that had more depth to their plot lines and they had more interesting things that the characters can go through, and they can go through more struggle and stuff because they're adults, I think she could do that very well. I think she could make that work. I think if she wanted to include characters that did have sex off camera, it'd be fine, but I don't think her sex scenes are written in a way that is, I don't like reading sex scenes just in general, but I don't think they're written in a way that makes them particularly an asset to the book. I don't think it adds much to it. I think it detracts from the story itself, in my opinion. But this is coming from a person who doesn't like to read that sort of a thing in books, so take that with a grain of salt. But to me, I don't think they're worth reading. So if you're a teenager who's like, I don't want to read them, you don't have to. Like, I straight up, I'm gonna put this one in glare because I didn't like this book, like, at all, really. Then we have Room to Breathe, which is her latest YA released book. It was good. It was a good book. I have a couple qualms with the way the book was constructed, because it was constructed kind of as a series of flashbacks while the main characters are stuck in kind of a forced proximity infinity kind of space. It has flashbacks to her, basically how she got in this situation, which is a fun way to construct the book. But I think the way that they did it made it so the love story happened not in real time, which made it feel not as real to me personally. I think if I reread it, I would have liked it a lot. I did end up crying at the end of this book. I think I still rated it 4.5 stars. I still really liked it. It's also shorter than some of her other books too, so I feel like it had less in it to recommend it to me, I guess. But that's just me being a book snob at this point. I did really like it. I think I'll put it into like because I haven't reread it, and I don't think a book can be put any higher until I've reread it at least a couple times. Now we have Stranger Things Have Happened, which is her latest release. And this one, I read it and I was like, oh, this is also adult romance, so sex and swearing. So I was reading it and I was like, oh, I like this one better than the other one. And I rated it, I think 4.25 stars, maybe 4 stars. And then I kind of sat on it a little bit and I was like, wait a second, I like this one because it's literally just the plot of Maybe This Time. Not exactly, but like the characters' vibes. That's just what happens. And so I was like, I like this because it's a worse version of the book that's my favorite book by her. And so that made me glare at it. I don't think adding that stuff adds much to the book. I think her plots are still good, but it doesn't add anything to the story. So I don't know if I'm gonna keep reading her adult romances. I think reading 2 is fine. I think I've done my duty. Now we have Lonely Hearts Day, which is her one and only novella. And when I heard that she wrote a novella, and it was only on Kindle Unlimited or buy it as a Kindle book, I was like, I don't know if I want to read it. And then I think there was like a sale on it around Valentine's Day, and so I bought it one year. And then I read it and I fell in love. This is true love. Probably above Maybe This Time, because I love that book so much. It's perfect. It is so well constructed. It is so short. It is 114 pages long, and it is short. It follows literally just 4 days in a girl's life, and it's perfect. I love it so much. Her storytelling is so compact and so well done within that short span, and it's just so good. I forgot a book. Oh no! 1 second. I lied. She has another short story, which I forgot about because I've read this book once, and I literally only read her short story in it, but I need to reread it because I did like it. This one, I can't remember what the short story itself is called. Let me do a little bit more research. I don't think you can see what the names are just from looking it up, but it's an anthology that has 4 authors, and they each wrote a short story focusing around the holidays, and like it's a love story like that. And so the one that Kasie West wrote follows a girl who's trying to get back home to her place, but the plane that she was supposed to get on goes down, and so she gets a ride with a boy that she knew from school and his family, and that's taking her home, and they have to go like on a road trip through the snow. The anthology is called Snow and Love, and I read it once and I wasn't like deeply impressed with it, but like looking back on it, I'm like, that's really cute. So I want to reread it. I'm gonna put it in like because I want to reread it, and it can't get higher than that until I do. I just love anthologies that are like specifically Christmas anthologies. They make me feel better in my soul. I don't know why. They just make me feel happy. I'm glad I remember that. I would feel stupid if I didn't include a book that she's written on this list. Now we have 3 books that are coming out within the next year or so. And obviously I haven't read any of them because sadly I am not on any PR lists. Wink, wink. Anyway, I have pre-ordered Light Up My Life, which is the next book, and this one is so cute. This one is it's going to be a winter romance, and I don't know anything about the plot because I hate looking at plots, but just based on the vibe of this book, I am projecting it's going to be at least Heart Eyes. At least Heart Eyes. It might be even better, just based on the vibe. I hope that one's a true love, because me and Christmas romances, they don't have to be good. I will just love it. It, like, no matter what. If it's cringy, love it. If it's bad, love it. If it's great, even better. It doesn't matter how good it is. I will read it and I will love it. So I'm so excited for that. And it comes out in October. I might have to wait till November to read it, but like, so excited. The next book that's coming out is The View from Here. And this one I know like a teensy bit about. It's like a boat trip and she's an Instagrammer or something like that. And this one looks cute. I like the cover. I'm kind of like iffy on her new cartoon covers, but I do like this one, The View from Here, and Light Up My Life is also cute. What do I think this one's gonna be? I'm not as optimistic about this one because it could either be like really, really good or it could let me down. So I don't want to be like, yeah, this is gonna be a 5-star prediction for me. So I'm not gonna put it in True Love, but I think it could at least be Heart Eyes, but I'm gonna put it in like. I'm gonna be like moderately optimistic about this. I think it could be really, really good. The last book that's coming out. This one comes out, I think, April next year? May, sometime like that. And this one is another adult romance called Trust Issues. And I'm just straight up gonna put that in glare because I might read it, but I also like don't want to. So that's my opinion on that right now. All right, and with that, we have ranked all of the books. That took way less time than I thought it was going to. I should do another one. This was fun. I am not surprised with how many I put up really high because I knew I was gonna do that. I am really surprised with how many I put in the middle. I thought there was gonna be less in the middle, but I think we did a good job. We didn't put everything in True Love, which is good, and we also didn't put everything in the bottom tier, so that's also good. I need to do this again with like Brandon Sanderson books because I think I've read all of his books. All right, and with that, I will see you in my next video, which should be at some point, honestly. I don't know when. Go read a Kasie West book. If you're a teenager and you want a clean romance, I recommend these with my whole soul. They're so good. Even the ones I don't love as much, other people have said are their favorites. So, you know, I just have like a different spectrum of the like, and other people have a different spectrum. So also, just as an aside here at the end of this video, the old covers are better. They have new covers. I know Kasie West has nothing to do with this. I know it's the publisher, but the publishers, hey, these old covers, they're better. Like, these are the two that I have that are the old covers. These are so cute. These are so charming. Stop trying to sell the stupid new cartoon covers that don't look as good as this. I don't mind the cartoon covers like this. These are fine. But the ones that have like the different cartoons across them, no. Stop it. Bad. All right, I'll see you in my next video, which should be at some point for sure. Tell me what your ranking of Kasie West books are. What is your favorite book? I'm very vocal about my favorites and my least favorites, so let me know. Let me know if I'm wrong. I probably am. I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye. Mwah.